going to take a look at the live view feature. Now this is a really great feature because you can look directly through the back of the camera, and that's really advantageous when you're taking shots on very low angle. Say you would need a delay on the ground. Well, you don't need to do that anymore because you can see through the back of the camera. Or ultimate high angle shots where you're holding it over your head and looking down like this. So that really makes it convenient to do those shots because you don't have to look through the viewfinder in the back of the camera. Now, live view is one of the incredible features on the 5D Mark II, and there is a whole bunch of configuration that you can do when you set it up. And of course, some of this is user experience as you get more used to using it, but initially you'll want to enable it and turn a few things on. So let's take a look at the back of the camera and see where we'll be doing this over here. First off, this is the all-important live view button up here, and it's got a nice little silver embossed picture of a camera with the screen on the back of it there, but that's where we're going to turn on the live view from it when we actually are using the live view. But of course, in configuring the live view, you're going to do that from the menu situation. So let's go ahead and take, now remember I'm going to be using my standard two buttons on the back here, the big rotary control and the multi-position to move around just like we've been doing in all the other menus. So let's go into the camera. There we go. And I'm just going to move over. Remember, when you turn the camera on, if it's set so, you're going to be right in your My menu on the far right. So to get to where we want to go, you're going to go 4 to the left over here, 4 selection left, one of the little open and wrench menus in the sort of orangish color, and then go down to the very bottom, and Live View Movie Function Set. See, I'm using my controllers over here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the set, and then I'm going to be presented with all of these things which have to do with the live view. Not all of them exactly, but they're in this live view and movie function set. So then let's go ahead and hit set and go look at all the selections under the live view function setting. That's very important. So first off, as we rotate the rotating command dial here, we're going to have to decide whether we want to disable the live view setting or enable it in 2 different modes. One is for stills only, and one is stills plus movie. And that is, if you're in stills only, it's going to present an image which does not shift in its exposure when you're looking around through the camera. And it's going to be sort of formatted for the aspect ratio and such of the stills. And if I hit set to take it, then we have 2 different selections here. We can go ahead and tell it to go ahead and track the exposure. That means if you're getting a low exposure, overexposure, it's going to reflect that in the live view screen, or not have that happen. Okay, so basically you're going to select one of those. I'm going to not have that happen for myself, and then it pops you right back up to the top. Now, if I hit the set again and go down to stills plus movie and then hit set, I have 3 selections here that I can do if I want to set it up for having live view for stills and movie shooting. First is the traditional stills display kind of display. If that's what you like, leave it there. If you want to get exposure simulation where it shows you if you're under or overexposing because it reflects the brightness of the actual taken image in the viewfinder, put it on exposure simulation. And third is movie display. If you want it to conform to the aspect ratio of your HD shooting or your SD shooting, you can shoot in 640 as well, you put it on movie display, and that'll track the format of what you're shooting in the movie mode. So if I'm going to do that, I personally, I'd put it in the movie display. All right, let's go down to the next over here, grid display, and go ahead and let's hit the set. And let's see the full screen there so we can see our selections. Those are going to be grid 1 and grid 2. And that is, if you're taking pictures, I shot a whole bunch of architecturals in New Orleans, and I was testing some different cameras and such, and I did not use the grid. I should have used the grid function because a lot of times you really want to be sure that things are straight and that you're not at an angle. And this will allow you to really get things horizontal. And they have 2 different types here, the one that's a little finer and a little less fine, and that will overlay on top of the live view settings. So it's very simple. All of a sudden you'll see it. I'll go ahead and hit grid 1, and I'm going to go hit the live view real quick, and you'll see that it has a grid display on it over there. And so I just hit the live view button over there. But you'll see, looking through camera 3, that we have that superimposed on there. You'll see a little bit of a grid there. So I want to get back out of live view. I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the menu button again and bring us back up to our menu settings. So let's go back over to the menus. And I've come right up again, like I said, in my menu. We don't want to be there. We don't want to be in our live view over here. So I've left it on grid 1. I'm going to turn it back off. I'm going to go down to silent shoot, and I'm going to show you that we've got mode 1, 2, and disable. This is to make the camera quieter than it would normally be. So disable would be, I would say default because you're not putting it into silent mode. Mode 1, if you have the camera in continuous mode, it'll shoot 3 shots in a sort of quiet mode for you. A lot of times you want to reduce the sound of the camera operating very quiet moments during a service or a funeral or even a wedding. And mode 2 is a modification of that, where it'll take the picture, but as you hold the shutter button all the way down, it actually turns the camera functions off and quiets the camera down, and then will again come back to normal when you release. I'm going to leave that in disable. And now I'm going to go down to the next one here, metering timing. I'm going to show you all the stuff that's on this menu. This is how long does the meter stay active after you press that shutter halfway down, and that's going to depend on whether you're in movie mode and such. You may want the meter to remain active a lot longer. Of course, when you have the metering on, that pulls battery consumption. You want to minimize battery consumption, and that's why they're giving you the option to actually reduce the amount of time, if you want, that the metering stays on. 16 seconds is a good average to have that. AF mode, next selection, I'm hitting the set button, and then we have 3 selections of their autofocus mode. And this is very important for you when you're shooting looking through live view, because of course when the camera is in live view mode, it doesn't easily have access to the traditional focusing methodology in the camera. So the way that Canon has this work is having you enable you to select 3 different modes when looking through the live view. The quick mode is where you're going to press the AF on button in back of the camera while you're looking through the live view to momentarily focus. And we'll show you that later, but basically when you're looking through the live view, if it's in quick mode, it's not focused. If it's not focused, you press the AF on button. You will momentarily not be able to see through the camera because it's going to go ahead and turn on the autofocusing and flip the mirror. And then when you release the autofocus button, as soon as it beeps, you're focused and ready to take your picture. Now, live mode uses a more basic focusing technology, but allows the camera to try to contrast focus. That is using the contrast method to focus during a live view session, so it doesn't interrupt your view, but it will attempt to focus continuously using a traditional focus method. And the third is the live face view mode. And what this does is the camera intelligently locates faces in the image and assumes that you would prefer to focus on the faces of the people in the image. And it will do this in the live focusing mode. So experiment with those, and of course that's dependent on what you're shooting at the moment. Down to movie record size, 1928 by 1080 or 640 by 480. And these are the 2 resolutions that you can shoot in your movie recording size. This is more of a standard definition size down here, and that will give you more of the standard aspect ratio and standard display resolution of our traditional television. And here is your full-on 1080p incredible HD movie quality. And remember, you need at least a 4 gig memory card with an 8 megabit per second transfer rate or better. HD and a 4 gig card will give you something around 12 minutes. And if you want to record more than that, of course, you can go to 8 or 16 because you have access to the new compact flash UDMA cards on this, so you can get the super high size. Sound recording, last one. Do you want to record audio with your movie? I do, so I'm going to leave it on. And remember, when you do record movies, that you would prefer to put an external microphone on. That way you can use a little wireless mic or such and plug it into the camera and have a little wireless mic on your subject and really improve your audio quality as far as background noises and things like that, just like any camera shooting that has an internal microphone. So there you go. You get yourself configured with live view before you shoot with it, and then from that point on, as you get experience in using live view, you decide about customizing those other things.